Shailene, thanks so much for being with me. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty groovy. How are you?
Good, good. Tell me about the appeal of joining a show like Paradise and what your involvement was or knowledge of it in season one.
I just think that Dan Fogelman can do no wrong ever. I just respect him so much and have been an admirer of his for a long time. And so being able to kind of jump into this world and take on a character that was different from season one, from what we understood to be the lives of people in season one, was really exciting. And also, I got the role and I was on set very, very quickly. The turnaround time was quite short, so there wasn't a lot of moments to think about it or prepare. It was kind of just like a jump in and see what happens situation.
Well, we will talk full spoilers here, so I hope everyone watching has seen all of
Okay,
season two of
great.
Paradise. But you're nominated for an Emmy for guest actress in a drama series, but you're really like the lead of the first episode and a little bit after that. Was it strange to sort of know you were only coming on for a little bit that you were going to have such a significant portion of the screen time and focus of the story?
I again, like I didn't really think about it because it was such a short turnaround time between me arriving. Also, I just feel so lucky to do what I do. I feel like a child still in so many ways. Every time I walk onto a film set, I'm like, I can't believe someone figured out how to build this building or how to bring these massive lights or this crane inside. It's all just feels like Disneyland in a way, and that's really the extent of what I'm thinking about apart from my specific character when I'm on a film set. I'm not really regarding the after or what could come from something or the kind of build out of the world around being an actor. It really is just the focus of the craft and the job at hand and being excited to be there and hopefully executing to the best of my ability.
You're no stranger to, dystopian worlds. How did this particular environment feel familiar and new at the same time?
Yeah, it felt very different. I mean, I haven't, the dystopian world of Divergent was a very long time ago now, so I haven't really been in that mindset for over a decade. And Paradise felt different, A, because, I mean, just we were filming in Los Angeles, which is such a gift today because Hollywood, there isn't a lot of jobs in Hollywood itself at the moment. And I'm from Los Angeles and I grew up acting here. And so to film on the Paramount lot in and of itself felt like some kind of miracle and magic. And the dystopian nature of the paradise world didn't really hit me with Annie until episode 4 when Xavier and Annie leave Graceland. But those first few weeks was really this gorgeously contained set of Annie and Elvis and at Graceland and what she did with her time and how she managed to stay sane despite all of um being locked in this home for so long. The textural experience of acting off of inanimate objects and existing sort of in this solo space before Link arrives, the character played by Thomas Doherty, was really very special and very unique.
It made you think about how you might survive or fare in a similar situation if the world, got any worse than it already is.
I'd like to think that I would be as strong and willful and patient as Annie. I think that the hardest thing for me, I think, would be the patience and the hope that like one day the sun will rise again and the curtains will come down and I'll be able to open the front door. The uncertainty and the unknowing, the ability to get over the fear of that, I think is a true test of human character, and it's something that Annie did so well.
What questions do you still have about Annie that you wish had been answered?
So many, so many. I mean, I know why she didn't leave Graceland with Link, but I want to know. If I were there, I would sit her ass down and be like, why aren't you going with him? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I guess I want to ask her why she doesn't. It's funny because all the things that would frustrate me about Annie, about why she doesn't tell Xavier about, her health and what's happening with her during her pregnancy and why she doesn't go with Link and why she doesn't are also the reasons why I love her so much and why I cared for her so much and the things that distinctly set her and I apart as people and the things that I learned from her. So I guess my questions are a little bit neutralized by the outcome and the understanding of why she chose certain things.
What's the hardest part of her to portray?
I can be quite I'm quite a warm person and an inviting person in many ways, and there were parts of Annie that were very reserved, and she had a very strong wall. And I wouldn't say it was hard to portray that, but I definitely I was like, where does that exist within me? And how can I access that with, um, and make it feel as natural as it would be for her? That was a fun discovery. And actually, I think I've become a little bit more guarded since playing Annie. So it's something she left me with.
What can you say about working with Sterling K. Brown?
Sterling's the man. He's just the man. He's such a good leader. He's such a phenomenal actor. It's funny. It's like sometimes I forget actually how good of an actor he is because he's so natural in his execution that in my head I'm like, oh yeah, like Xavier is Sterling. That is who Sterling is. But it's not at all who Sterling is. It's parts of who Sterling is. He is part of who Sterling is, but he's got this kind of quiet ability to the minute the camera turns on lock in and drop in as an actor, and then the minute that the camera cuts he returns to his full self. And I I really enjoyed working with him, and I really enjoyed getting and still enjoy getting to know him as a person, and I admire the way that he leads a film set and takes care of the people around him and makes an effort to the crew around him. And he's also just a very generous actor. Like he's locked and loaded and present with me, whether the camera's on him or it's not.
You didn't get a chance to interact with much of the regular cast, due to your character's fate. Who would you most have liked to work with, or at least have your storylines overlap somehow?
I would have loved to have some scenes with Julianne Nicholson because I just think that she's a total just feral beast. I love her as an actress. I guess like in a similar way, I've gotten to know her a little bit on the press side of things, and similar to Sterling, they are masters of their craft. Like they are such phenomenal artists. But because they're such kind, normal people, it's so easy to just, kind of take that for granted. But I would have loved, loved, loved to play with her on the set.
And how did the experience of working with Dan Fogelman live up to your expectations?
Did it live up to my expectations? Absolutely. Dan Fogelman is, I mean, this man. I truly think he goes to bed at night and just wonders and contemplates how he can make the world a better place. And I don't think maybe he would admit that to people, but maybe he wouldn't. He's kind of, oh, he would hate me saying this, but I feel like he's like kind of an unsung, uh, what I would consider like an unsung hero in some ways, only because he helps people feel things. And I think that it's so important that we whether it's through the medium of Paradise or any of the other projects that he's created, he really invites like a familial warmth and a deep, like connective care for the world around you and for community and for the goodness in humanity. He's so good at highlighting the goodness of the world. And it's all also just a reflection of how he is as a person. He cares so much about his people, and when I don't say it lightly, I really do think he goes to bed and thinks like, how can I, what project can I do next so I can get more people in Los Angeles hired? What can I write so that more people can have work? He's just somebody who gives a damn and happens to be a brilliant artist, and those two things coming together, lucky us to be able to, to bear witness and be fans of his work.
I think the show is very acclaimed, but still a little bit, fresh and under the radar. How has the experience of interacting with fans, both out in the world and among Emmy voters, been like?
People love Paradise. It's so cool. People love Paradise around the world. Um, I think that I think that people have been shocked actually by like the caliber of how of its execution and how phenomenal it is. Even just seeing our special effects department nominated and our casting department nominated, and there's so many elements to Paradise that's bigger than just a typical kind of drama show or sci-fi show or whatever genre somebody, I actually don't know what genre maybe we would put Paradise in, but it kind of transcends a lot of labels and has sort of created its own box. And so I think more than anything, people are surprised. I hear a lot like, this isn't a show I would typically watch, but I love it. Or this isn't the type of, I'm not interested in post-apocalyptic worlds. However, and I think that is, the magic that Dan and his writers did create is they took very human stories and put them in a world that felt a little bit out of touch and out of reach, and therefore kind of broadened an audience and invited in a new audience that wouldn't normally exist with these types of shows.
You've been in the TV world for a long time. How do you feel like it's changed, and what have you most learned over the course of your time?
Wow, it's changed a lot. I think now it doesn't feel like there's a huge distinction between television and film. Obviously, there are some very distinct differences, but especially when it comes to sort of these limited series or these shows, like Paradise that has 3 seasons, so you knew the beginning, or at least Dan and Sterling knew the beginning and they knew the end and what was going to happen. It feels in a way like it's just a very long movie. And I've been lucky, Secret Life of American Teenager, we had different directors all the time. And then I did Big Little Lies, where it was just Jean-Marc Ballet and then just Andrea Arnold. And so and then doing Paradise and this other show I just finished called Count My Lies, where we had multiple directors again. I think what's changed is that it feels more cinematic than before, and yet there still is a television formula that has to be followed. And so finding those two worlds colliding is different on every TV set and exciting. I love the direction that
I
TV
think
is heading.
Oh, absolutely. I also think Big Little Lies is the best example. Whenever I talk to someone about like this was a limited series, but is it really going to be a limited series? Because I feel
Yeah.
like that was one of the most unexpected second season renewals we've seen. But it's also nice. I think that was, I personally like season two a lot, and I think this sounds like this new show also is talking about lies, but I assume has nothing to do with Big Little
Different
Lies.
kinds of lies.
Is there anything you can preview about that?
About Count My Lies. It's based on a book. And we just finished it. And it's definitely, I can't say much, but I will say that it is an unexpected show by means of, um, it's just a little off kilter in the best way. It doesn't really follow a specific formula, and the characters, you think you know who they are, and then you discover more about them as the show goes on. And it's got this hint of huh or weird or kooky or different that I think is for me as like a viewer is exciting and fresh.
I was also a fan of Three Women, which I feel like flew very much under the radar, but is a good undiscovered gem people should seek out.
Yes, I agree. It was a really beautiful film or show to make. And Betty
I
Gilpin,
also, yeah, she's
remarkable.
pretty great. Always great to see Betty. Well,
Yeah.
I also always think about The Spectacular Now when I think about you. I think that was a really incredible film, and I know that you and Miles have both gone on to do really great things since then. That was sort of like a very small little launching pad after you've done a little bit of stuff, but still a very really great independent gem. How do you look back on that film?
Wow. Tech Now was so special for so many reasons. I mean, Miles and I worked together on the Divergent series after that and became quite close on Spec Now, and he's been a very meaningful person in my life. It's where I met James Ponsoldt, who I just still think is one of the greatest filmmakers today. And it felt it felt like what independent filmmaking, in my opinion, should feel like, which was everybody was there for the right reason. Everybody gave a damn. Everyone was excited to kind of like stretch their arms and their wings and get up early and work really hard and not like no one took themselves too seriously, and everybody gave everybody cared enough but didn't care too much. And when I say they were there for the right reasons, I just, making an indie film is difficult, and there's not a lot of perks and luxuries that come with these bigger budgeted films or television shows. And so, if you're there, it's because you care. And that was my biggest memory of Spectacular Now, was just sort of we were filming in Athens, Georgia, which felt quite insular and cozy and comfortable. And James, he has a patience to his disposition to sort of he allowed Miles and I to really connect and hold the beats. And Bob Odenkirk, like there's just so many remarkable actors in that movie too. Kyle Chandler looking back, and um yeah, I think about it with so much fondness, and I really love the movie that James made.
Is there anything I haven't mentioned from your filmography that like nobody ever brings up and you wish you would be like, that was really good because you're really proud of it, but no
You
one
know
really
what
saw
movie
it?
no one ever brings up because I think many people maybe just haven't seen it or didn't know about it. I did a movie with Greg Araki called White Bird in a Blizzard when I was
I've
19,
seen it. I've seen it.
and I freaking loved that movie. It was such a short shoot. I mean, I want to say it was 19 days, but it could have been less than 19 days. I was so amazed by I don't even know if amazed is the right word. Like, I just remember it feeling like Greg is so specific in what he wants and yet also has like a very chill demeanor. And I loved that he took a risk on me and was like, hey, like, come do this movie. Let's play together. And I don't, again, like, it was just a wonderful independent film. I get hungry for those types of experiences where it's as much about the final product as it is for us on the day making it. And what it feels like very artistic and creative, and like every person matters. And growing up on film sets, the crew matters just as much as actors and filmmakers and editors, and yet we're the ones who get the most attention. And so when an independent film comes around, or honestly, a Dan Fogelman set, the feeling and the vibe overall is that everyone's in it together. And so, yeah, Whitebird, I just remember, conversations that I had with a focus puller on Whitebird, gosh, 15 years ago now, I still think about quite often. It's very special.
Is there anything you haven't done yet, a role or a genre you'd really love to try?
So many. I mean, so many. There's so many different complex humans in the world. It's endless, the possibilities. I would love to do another action film, because I'm quite athletic and just really love being in my body. I would love to play an antagonist, like a true antagonist. I'd love to do a musical. I would love to, yeah, there's just so many things. Anything that's different, honestly. It's kind of a funny thing in our industry. When you do one thing, people are like, "Oh, that's what I know you for, and that's how I'm going to cast you." And yet, I always think the most interesting choices are when I see actors in roles, or directors, quite frankly, in role or taking on projects that I'm like, I would never see you with this genre, and yet my mind is blown because of that.
What have you seen lately that you really like that you're recommending to people?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, the most recent answer is that I just started watching Sterling Point because a dear friend of mine created it and wrote it and directed it, and she's incredible. And I think it's such a phenomenal show, and the actors on that, these young actors are blowing my mind. Um, so that's been the most recent recommendation. And then this is not something I'm telling other people to watch, but I finally watched Breaking Bad because I had never seen it, and I'm floored. Like I cannot get Walter White out of it. I just finished it, the whole season, the finale of everything 4 days ago, 5 days ago. And this man is still just kind of lurking right here, and I'm wildly inspired.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Shailene, and best of luck in the future. Looking forward to your antagonistic era.
Thank you. Me too. Let's go. Have a great
Thanks so
day. Thank
much.
you so much, Abe.